Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to the other end of the home office. I guess I'm calling it now. How is everybody? We got 3 people here. At least 5 people. Yay! Yeah, I thought I'd get a little cute and use the subject of the stream to make a funny little pre-stream screen there. OBS is being stupid. When I set up OBS, it's like, oh, the recommended bitrate is 10 megabits per second, which is higher than I've ever streamed. So I'm like, sure, okay, let's do it. Now I get a message from YouTube. The current bitrate is higher than the recommended bitrate. Okay, what's the higher? YouTube recommends 4,500 kilobits per second. I'll do 5, because that's what I usually do at work when we stream. I don't know why it doesn't like 10, but fine, I'll do 5. It'll probably be a bit more reliable that way. Anyway. So, tonight we are going to install software on the Epson Apex Plus, which is sitting right beside me. After all the experimentation I did trying to format the hard drive as RLL, I have low-level formatted it using the MFM controller. I've F-disked it, and I've done an MS-DOS format on it. So it's all clean and empty and ready to go. And a little interesting, something I forgot to mention in the video I made on that subject. I ran SpinRite for the first time under MFM encoding, and SpinRite actually found 4 bad sectors, which is fine. MS-DOS, when you do a format, still finds 0, but when SpinRite does its pattern testing, which is way more demanding than a simple format, it found 4 bad sectors, which is good. Good that we found those, and that's only 8 kilobytes worth. So, in the grand scheme of an MFM hard drive, that's a pretty darn healthy drive. Although I still have, I have a bit of bad news to share. It would appear that the hard drive is beginning to suffer from the same issue that it had for 10 years before I fixed it. It's happened twice so far that I turned it on, and it seems to spin pretty much up to full speed, but it does not do a seek test, and then it spins back down. And I have to turn the computer off and turn it back on, and then it comes up and it works. So certainly not nearly the severity of what it was like for 10 years, but I'm a little sad now that it's all of a sudden started doing this. I've put probably 30 or 40 hours of runtime on the drive since I fixed it. So maybe that, force on the spindle motor is still there to some degree, and maybe it's going to get bad again the more I run it. I don't know. But for now it's okay. At worst I've got to... It's done it twice out of the last 20 times I've turned it on, so that's not that bad. I'll just deal with it unless it gets worse. No, not stiction, because the platters do spin up. They just don't spin up to full speed. It's like something is loading down the spindle motor. So either the spindle motor, either the case is continuing to warp around the spindle motor, or the spindle motor is simply going bad. Maybe, even though it's a very quiet drive, maybe the bearings are just going bad. Stiction would mean that it couldn't spin up at all, because the heads were stuck to the platters. But, oh well, I'll just keep using it until it gets bad again, if it does. Hopefully it doesn't, but if it does, then I'll just swap the IDE hard drive back in. So, oh my goodness, we have 8 people here. So here's what I want to do. So, my original plan was to install MS-DOS 3.2 for an operating system. Historically on this computer, back when it had the 130 megabyte IDE hard drive. I ran MS-DOS 5. I think MS-DOS 5 is an excellent choice for what is very much a high-end XT. 10 megahertz, 640K of RAM, VGA graphics. MS-DOS 5 I think is a fine choice for that. But it also uses way more hard drive space than earlier versions of MS-DOS. So my original plan was to install MS-DOS 3.2 from the original Epson floppy disks, which I do have. I got them with the computer, to 5¼ inch floppy disks, which I did move onto a single, or I copied them onto a single 3½ inch floppy disk. So that's good to have, because I have the 3½ inch drive as the A drive now, the boot drive. This computer will only boot off the A drive. And as I've said in the past, I don't like 5¼ inch floppy disks. I find them horrendously unreliable. I've never had a good time using 5¼ inch floppy disks. So to move those disks onto this disk, which I'll keep forever, and hopefully never have to use the 5¼ inch disks anymore, that's great. So my original plan was to do that, but I've got to doing some reading and watching videos and stuff lately, because it's come to my attention that all my life playing with vintage computers, all I've ever used is MS-DOS. Now, an exception to that is on my IBM 5155 portable PC. I run IBM PC-DOS on that, which is just a clone of MS-DOS, at least for the first several versions. Later it diverged. But all I've ever used is MS-DOS. And there's alternatives out there. There's quite a few alternatives when you get later in DOS's life, like something you'd run on a 386 or 486 or whatever. There's not quite as many alternatives when you go back to the XT era. But there's one in particular that I kind of want to try and experience, and it's Digital Research's DR-DOS, which was a alternative to MS-DOS sold on the retail market. And it has a lot of improvements that the equivalent version of MS-DOS didn't have. And really, DR-DOS is kind of brilliant. It just had, I've done some reading, I've watched some videos, and it just had so many cool things that MS-DOS didn't get until MS-DOS later copied those features into later versions. But I kind of want to give it a try. But, and in particular, I want to try DR-DOS 5, because DR-DOS 5, which came out a few months before MS-DOS 5, or maybe a year before, DR-DOS 5 came with a graphical file manager, like MS-DOS 5. You know, MS-DOS 5, you've got the MS-DOS shell. DR-DOS 5 came with one called ViewMax, and ViewMax is actually based on GEM, Digital Research's graphical environment manager, which was their stab at a DOS GUI in the mid-1980s. It ultimately failed. Apple sued the pants off of Digital Research because GEM looks a lot and acts a lot like the Macintosh system software. GEM did become the user interface on the Atari ST, which is pretty cool. But GEM, there was also GEM for the IBM PC, and it was ultimately a flop. Very few applications developed for it. Once Windows 3.0 came out, GEM was just a goner, especially once they had to basically neuter it of a lot of its functions after Apple sued Digital Research. But ViewMax was sort of the successor to GEM. It's only a file manager. You can't run GEM applications, but it's based on all the, the core backbone is GEM. And gem has a very specific look, and it's kind of neat. And I've never used, that's my dehumidifier being full. I've used gem before. I've never used the original gem, but when Novell bought Digital Research in the mid-90s, they continued DR-DOS for like one version, and I don't remember if they continued ViewMax. But then Novell got bought out by Caldera? Was that it? I don't remember. Anyway, but then they released Gem as open source. So Gem is now open source code, and as a result, people have, very few people, have continued working on Gem and developing Gem into this free and open source DOS GUI. And it works on FreeDOS and everything. So I've used those versions of Gem before. One in particular is OpenGem, which was kind of the most popular of the modern Gem implementations. OpenGem is no longer being developed. The guy hasn't worked on it in earnest in like 10 years. But it's about as finished as it's going to get anyway, because there's so few applications for Gem to begin with. But OpenGem was kind of this ultimate port of the open source Gem code, and it includes like almost every application that was ever written for Gem and stuff like that. So I've used OpenGem, never used the original Gem, never used ViewMax. So I want to use ViewMax, see what the True Blue Digital Research product was like. I'm now going to read the comments because people are writing stuff. Hi Ava, good to see you. DR-DOS, when MS-DOS decided she was tired of working dead-end jobs and decided to get a doctorate. Do you remember HyperCard usage in Apple importing it to MS-DOS? I am not that old. I'm only 29, so I post-date. I slightly post-date that stuff. I didn't use a vintage Mac for the first time until 2015. And I've never touched HyperCard. So anyway, yeah, and you know, Digital Research as a whole, if you read the story about them, they got screwed over so badly. When IBM came out with the PC, there was a choice of operating systems you could get. There was MS-DOS, of course, or IBM PC-DOS, it was distributed as. But there was also Digital Research's CP/M. And then there was one other operating system, which I forget, some sort of maybe Unix-based thing, I forget. And if I remember right, when the IBM PC was coming out, Digital Research thought that CP/M was going to be the OS of choice. And then IBM kind of went behind their backs and made a deal with Microsoft for MS-DOS. And when the IBM PC did come out, they offered both operating systems, but it was something like $40 for MS-DOS or $200 for CP/M. And it just completely screwed over Digital Research. And they were never quite the same after that. Digital Research was the king of the operating system until IBM sort of made Microsoft the king by making MS-DOS the standard, because that's what everybody got because it was so much cheaper, and MS-DOS was just a rip-off of CP/M. Anyway, so there's that. And then when Digital Research came out with Gem, Gem possibly could have become the Windows before Windows, but then Apple sued the pants off them. And then Digital Research just had all these amazing ideas that just kept getting screwed over by bureaucracy. the CEO of Digital Research, Gary Kildall, he was a co-host on Computer Chronicles, eventually left Computer Chronicles. Sadly, and this is so sad, and I didn't learn this until recently, the last episode of Computer Chronicles that Gary Kildall ever co-hosted was the episode about Windows 3.0, the environment that killed Gem once and for all. So that's kind of creepy and a little sad. And then Gary Kildall died at the age of like 51 or something in like 1994. Super sad. Just quite sad. Just Digital Research was just way ahead of almost anybody, and then they just faded into obscurity. Anyway, I'm rambling about history. Finally made that box of Kraft Dinner. So much better than the stuff we have down here. Ha! I wonder why. I wonder why Canadian Kraft Dinner is better. That's interesting. Because we have so much more stricter health standards in this country. So I wonder, I'm a little surprised that it tastes better. But okie doke, I'll take it. We'll take it as a country. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This goes here. So I want to try Digital Research 5. Digital Research DOS 5, DR-DOS 5. If it uses less hard drive space than MS-DOS 5, I'll actually keep it, and I'll use it as the OS on this computer. But I don't know how much hard drive space either of them are going to use, so here's what I'm going to do. Just for funsies, for science, we're going to install MS-DOS 5, just so I can see how much hard drive space it uses. And then we'll install DR-DOS 5, and we'll play around with DR-DOS 5. So, without further ado, before I turn the computer on, the scan converter, which is what's generating this color bar pattern right now, it flickers when it detects a VGA signal. There's a lot of flickering that goes on, so if you're sensitive to that, mind that. So let's turn this thing on. And we'll stick in MS-DOS 5 Disk 1. Can you detail your system, please? Sure, it's an Epson Apex Plus. It's from, it's a Turbo XT system of generic design, like a generic Korean platform from 1988 or 89. It originally had a 8088 clone microprocessor. I switched it out for an NEC V20. I also put an Intel 8087 math coprocessor in it. It's got 640K of RAM, 20 megabyte MFM hard drive on a card, a knockoff hard card. It's got a double density 3.5 inch floppy drive and a 5 1/4 inch floppy drive. It's got a Seng ET4000AX Super VGA video card in it. And it has a Sound Blaster Pro compatible sound card in it. So it's a really built out system. I've really done tons of upgrades. When I got the computer, it had CGA, no sound card, no anything. It was years before I got a compatible VGA card that works. And yeah, I've really built out the computer. Before I fixed the hard drive, I used it with an IDE hard drive and an XT IDE card. And yeah, it's my favorite vintage computer that I own. I'm lucky enough to own a large number of vintage computers, but this one is my favorite. So, we are going to install MS-DOS 5. I'm just going to look very quickly, make sure. Yeah, I guess that's about as good as you're going to get for a screen capture there. Run shell on startup. No. Oh, I can't put it into 10 megahertz. Oops, okay. So how you're getting a screen capture right now is I'm doing what I do for my YouTube videos. I'm going from the VGA output to a VGA to S-video converter. Underneath my laptop here is my DVD recorder, which I'm putting the S-video into and getting HDMI out. And then I've got my USB HDMI capture device, and that all is what's giving you your capture. I bought on Amazon a VGA to HDMI adapter. Plug it into a VGA output, and it gives you HDMI to plug into an HDMI monitor. So I was excited to give you guys a high quality output going from VGA straight to HDMI, but the friggin' thing only works at HD resolutions. It just doesn't work at all when I plug it into this computer, which sucks. It was like 15 bucks for nothing. And today was the first time I ever used it, and I bought it like 3 months ago, so there's no getting my money back now. So you need MS-DOS to run DR-DOS. No, what I'm doing is I'm installing MS-DOS 5 first because I want to see how much hard drive space it uses, just for my own reference. And then we're going to erase it and install DR-DOS 5, and I want to see how much hard drive space that uses. And I'm hoping it uses less hard drive space, because then I'll consider keeping it on the hard drive and using DR-DOS as my main operating system. Disk 2. Of course, I write all these floppy disks using my USB floppy drive. And it's not the most reliable thing with double density disks, so we could just as easily have a read error come up. If we do, that's no big deal. Do you have any of the IBM non-clones? Yes, I have an IBM 5155 portable PC. It's an IBM PC XT in a suitcase with a lovely orange CRT monitor. I haven't powered that thing on in probably a year, year and a half. Maybe close to 2 years. That is safely stored in Mum's basement. And I say safely now because my vintage dehumidifier now lives down there, pulling, no joke, like 2 gallons of water a day out of the air in that basement. So it's keeping things nice and dry. That keyboard sounds satisfying. It is an Acer Model 6011 ATXT dual compatible keyboard, made in 1991, and it's got White Alps switches. I do have the original keyboard for this computer. It's a standard 84 or 83 key XT keyboard with the Epson logo on it. It just has mushy rubber domes. That's in storage at Mum's house as well. What company made that CAME converter? Sorry, I don't know what you mean. The VGA to S-video converter is a vintage broadcast piece of equipment made by Kramer. It was a very expensive piece of equipment. It's from probably the 90s or 2000s. I got that from work. It's a Kramer VP502XL. And then I'm running that. What I'm running first is a Kramer VGA splitter. So I get my monitor here, and then you guys get this output. And then I'm running output 2 of that splitter into the Kramer scan converter. Uh-oh. Oh, you know what I did? I wrote this particular floppy disk has a bad sector on it. So instead of writing the disk image, I just copied the files from the image onto it, but apparently I've got to write the image. That's dumb. Okay. Let's fix that right quick. This. At least I think that's why I did it. We'll find out here in a minute. Windows 10 kind of treats this USB floppy drive a little weird as well. Windows XP seems to be much more reliable with it. So I am streaming from the Lenovo ThinkPad T440p tonight. The reason being is because we're across the room from my desktop computer. And this laptop's actually been out of commission for the past couple of months. The SSD actually went bad. So it was just today because I wanted to do this stream, and I always planned on doing it from the MacBook Pro, and then I remembered that the MacBook Pro only has USB-C ports, and I haven't bothered buying an adapter yet. Just today, I finally switched out the SSD, and I originally ran Windows 11 on this. I've gone back to Windows 10. I prefer it over 11. Oh yeah, this floppy disk has a bad sector. No! Alright, let's try another one. I thought I only had one bad floppy out of all my double density floppies, but apparently I have much more than one. Because this is the problem I'm having. Alright, let's try this disk. This is the other thing WinImage does with double density images. Yeah, you just have to keep trying it, and then it just randomly works. So weird. Really, the best thing to do is just to have a laptop with an internal floppy drive. I think there's just something about the USB conversion where the BIOS can't talk directly to the drive anymore. I'm tolerating 11, which is not the review that you want to hear. I'm tolerating Windows 11. I run it on my desktop. It's fine. I mean, it works fine, but I prefer 10 just from usability reasons. I find that 11 does a lot of dumb things that are really completely unnecessary. But that's up to opinion. A lot of people say that 11 is the best thing ever. And eventually I will accept it and just use it once 10 is out of support in a couple of years. I can't believe Windows 10's 8 years old now. That's amazing. Yay! Okay. So. Let's try this again. Hooray! Oh yeah, so a big part of MS-DOS 5 is of course it has QBasic, which eats up a chunk of hard drive space. I wonder if DR-DOS has any BASIC at all. I assume it must, but maybe it doesn't. I don't know. If it does, I'll be interested to see what it has. Yeah, if anything, I've found 11 to be stable. The first issues I've ever had with Windows 11 were on this laptop, and it turned out to be because the SSD died. But no, if anything, I have found Windows 11 to be quite reliable. The only gripes I've had are just changes in usability that I feel like didn't need to be made, or at the very least, they could have given us the option, but Microsoft chose or chose not to, rather. Can I go into 10 megahertz now? No, I can't. I'm locked out of putting the computer into turbo mode, which it'll do sometimes, depending on what you're running. You press Control-Alt/. Windows 10 was supposed to be the last OS. Yeah, that's right. It was supposed to be like the final version of Windows and the whole Windows as a service, which turned out to be complete BS because Microsoft wants that sweet, sweet licensing money. It's the same reason they made the system requirements for Windows 11 all these esoteric BIOS hardware security crap. It's all, in my opinion, and I could be wrong, but in my opinion, they probably did it. They made the system requirements so high so that people would be forced to buy new computers and Microsoft would get more licensing money. Because, of course, you don't need to buy Windows anymore, right? Every UEFI computer has a Windows license built into the BIOS. So, they had to get money from somewhere. Yay! V Westlife pointed out the hilarity that the video card in this computer has more memory than the computer itself has. It's too bad there's no way to, like, use, like, some sort of memory management program to claim some of that memory on the video card for, like, expanded memory or whatever. Okay. Okay, now we're in 10 megahertz. So, I'm just going to write down that bytes free number. One 9013632. Okay. So next, oops. Now we're going to erase all that and install DRDOS. I wonder if DRDOS will give us the option. No, it probably won't. Can I pull a sudo rmrf and erase the hard drive from within the hard drive? Oh, whoops, I gotta do slash. Oh my god, it's actually doing it! It's destroying itself. I wanted to do /q/u. Oh. Ah, yes. Oh, so now I've lost those bad sectors that SpinRite found. I forgot to do a /q. Huh. Okay, it kept it 8 kilobytes bad sectors. So is it dead now? Wow, and yet command.com is still in memory. That's funny. Huh, I've never tried that before. Okay, we are going to do the 3-finger salute and boot DRDOS. So this is cool. This will be my first time ever using DRDOS. Probably for most of you, this will be your first time seeing it. I'm very interested to see what the experience is like. See what digital research naturally did better. Loading. I also technically own a copy of Windows 8 and 8.1, and I technically also own a physical copy of an early version of, ooh, this is pretty, of Windows 10. And the reason is because when I went to university, my university subscribed, or the engineering department subscribed to the Microsoft DreamSpark program, which I believe is not called that anymore. It's called something different. And through the DreamSpark program, students of registered schools could download literally almost any operating system Microsoft ever released was on there, with a legit key included and everything. And it was meant to be for educational use. So I have DreamSpark copies of several operating systems. I have Windows XP. I believe I downloaded a copy of MS-DOS 6.22, which they also offered in the program. I don't know where I put that, not that it matters too much. It's the exact same thing you can get from WinWorld. But yeah, it was MS-DOS 6.22, Windows XP, 7, 8, 8.1, and later 10 they offered. So I downloaded all of them because it's a legit copy that it's only meant to be for educational use. You can't use it for, commercial purposes, or they probably didn't want you using it for actual home use. It was just for development and stuff, but it's still pretty cool that they did that. So, look at this. Digital Research, they got the little logo at the top, DR-DOS 5.0 installed. This is already looking much fancier than what Microsoft does. Welcome to the DR-DOS install program. This program will install DR-DOS either onto your hard disk or onto removable floppy diskettes. Help information is available on each option and edit field. Press the F1 function key while the option is highlighted, or while the cursor is on the field. You will be using the Enter key to select an option and move to the next screen, or finish editing a field, cursor keys to move between options, the ESC key to return to the previous screen, the F10 key to abort the install program and exit to DR-DOS. Cool. Select the drive on which to install DR-DOS. Drive C, please. The default values of all the options in install can be set to provide one of 3 memory functionality combinations. Choose a combination which matches your requirements. Maximum application memory, expensive functionality, balance application memory I don't know. Do I get an explanation of what this actually does if I go help? Select this option if wish to, if wish to balance application memory with operating system functionality is the best choice. Okay, that's not really helpful. I guess I'll balance, because I don't know what exactly it changes. United States. I technically don't have a standard keyboard. I have an enhanced keyboard. This keyboard type is currently set as follows. Enhanced keyboard. Yes. Accept. ViewMax is configured to expect the following display mouse combination. IBM EGA VGA monochrome color work compatible 640 by 350. No mouse, use keyboard only. I do have a mouse connected, and I have VGA graphics, so I want it to use VGA graphics. So let's change that. Oh, those are the only choices. Okay, I guess we're sticking with that. We have a Microsoft serial or compatible without mouse driver. And it's on COM1. Load ViewMax at boot time. No, I don't want it to. Accept. If required, the install program will search all the directories on the destination drive and replace all copies of DOS files, i.e. any file with the same file name as a DRDOS utility or driver. Yeah, sure, the drive's empty, but I'll just accept the default. At this point, you can skip the remainder of the configuration procedure and proceed with the installation. Defaults will be used for the various system options and parameters. Note, if you skip the configuration procedure, the following files will be automatically overwritten if they already exist. DRDOS files will be copied to the directory cdrdos, overwriting previous versions if these are present. Proceed with configuration. Yep, that's good. The search path for commands or batch files is currently set as follows. Yep, that's cool. Search path for all other types of file append is currently set as follows. Yeah, sure. The following shows which additional options will be included. Extended display, ANSI.sys. I actually do want that. I know a little bit about ANSI.sys, but it's always fun to customize prompt colors and such. Graph table display support. What is that? Graph table enables you to display extra and international characters if you have a color or graphics adapter fitted to your machine. That doesn't sound important enough to install. Code page switching. I should know what this is, but I don't. Code page defines the characters which appear on the screen. Most countries use code page 437. Okay, so I don't need that. Your computer contains an 8086 or 8088 CPU. I take offense to that. We have a daggone NEC V20, 286 compatible instructions. Thank you very much. Yeah, that's good. Following shows which virtual disk support. No. File fast open support. What's that mean? Fast open enables files to be located more quickly by maintaining a hash table of file names in memory. Sure. File sharing support. No. Disk caching and RAM. No. Yeah, sure. Current settings for various system parameters are as follows. What is any of this? When break is on, you can stop a running program by pressing Control Break. The program will then stop the next line if it tries to call any DOS function. When break is off, Control Break will only stop the program when it is performing standard input or output functions. Okay. Fine. What's verify? When verify is on, DRDOS checks that data is correctly written to disk. After each write operation, this slows the system down slightly. That's cool. That's actually extremely cool. But I'm going to leave it off. History. I do want that. I assume that's, yeah, so that's like what MS-DOS 5 does, which is a feature I really miss in MS-DOS 3.2, so we'll leave that on. And this is something I probably don't care enough to know. Yeah, sure. The history parameters are currently set as follows. What's insert mode? When editing commands from the history buffer, characters typed in are either inserted in front of the cursor position or overwrite the character at the cursor position. Yeah, okay. Current settings for various disk I/O. This is a lot. Like, you get a lot of configuration here. Of course, if you had DRDOS and not MS-DOS, it was because you bought it because you're a nerd. So it's natural that it would have all this stuff. Current settings for various disk I/O parameters are as follows. Yeah, sure. DRDOS can display a variety of information at the command line prompt. For example, the time of day or the current directory. The field below selects the information to be displayed. Information to display directory, e.g. cdr-dos. I do like that. I don't need anything else at the moment. This concludes the configuration procedure. To review or change any of your choices, you can backtrack through the configuration screens using the ESC key. The install program will now copy the DR-DOS system. Yay! Running sys.com. This is exciting. Isn't everyone excited? Insert the utilities to diskette and drive A. I don't know what that is. They're just called disk 1, disk 2, and disk 3 in the RAR archive, or the zip archive, whatever it is. I guess I'll just insert disk 2 and hope for the best. Okay, that was it. This is definitely the most interesting and entertaining part of the installation process. I gotta say, it's very cute. The little digital research logo up there, very, very pretty program. Insert the ViewMax diskette and drive A. That is presumably disk 3. Uh-oh, which of these two disks is disk 3? I don't know, so I'll just stick a random one in. I chose the wrong choice. Press ESC to retry, okay. Will you then install Windows 3.1 with DR-DOS? That would be a pretty funny thing to do. So, Paul is referencing something that is yet another way that, not IBM this time, it was Microsoft, absolutely screwed over digital research. When Microsoft was developing Windows 3.1, Microsoft wanted to purposely sabotage DR-DOS and any other of the MS-DOS compatible DOSes so that people would be scared, basically, into buying MS-DOS. Yay! So what MS-DOS did was, in the beta versions of Windows 3.1, they coded something called the ARD code, A-A-R-D, which was like the Microsoft network username of the employee who wrote the code. His name was Aaron. The ARD code checks to see if the DOS that's running on the computer is MS-DOS, or I think IBM PC-DOS. If it's not, it would throw an error during the Windows 3.1 install. It wouldn't explain anything. It would just say a non-fatal error occurred. Here's the code for the error. And the whole point was that you would very feverishly call up Microsoft, say, hey, I'm trying to install the Windows 3.1 beta and I'm getting this error. The error obviously meaning this BS DOS checker code. And then the Microsoft employee on the other end of the line will say, oh yeah, it's because you're not running MS-DOS and we can't guarantee compatibility with other DOSes. Anyway, it freaked people out enough because, again, remember what I said a few minutes ago, who was using DR-DOS? Mostly nerds. And who was trying out the Windows 3.1 beta? Again, nerds. So this freaked people out. Oh no, DR-DOS isn't going to be compatible with Windows 3.1. And those people went out and they bought MS-DOS for their computers. Digital Research screwed over once again. The final version of Windows 3.1 does not throw that error. It installs and naturally works just fine because DR-DOS is 99.9% compatible with MS-DOS. Funny enough, the code itself actually still exists in the final version of Windows 3.1. It's just disabled. Absolutely just, God. We think pretty lowly of Microsoft today. They've always been like this. They're just such trash. But in better news, DR-DOS 5 is installed. So let's do the three-finger salute, which it instructs us to do. And see what it does. See how much hard drive space it uses. And we're off like a herd of turtles. Very simple startup process. Okie doke. Very cool. Ooh, we have more hard drive space free. It's almost an entire megabyte less than MS-DOS 5. Well, would you look at that. 199.33184. So we saved 920 kilobytes by using DR-DOS 5 instead of MS-DOS 5. Very cool. And we still have, we have the command history. Very cool. And let's jump right into ViewMax. I want to see ViewMax. I've never used ViewMax. I've only seen screenshots. Whoa, this is cool. Oh, look at that. It's so pretty. Oh, it looks just like Gem. It looks exactly like Gem. It is Gem. It's a neutered copy of Gem that's not capable of running anything other than the file manager. Look at this! This is so cool! And it started up so much quicker than the MS-DOS shell. Wow! So you can see already the similarity to the Macintosh system software, which is what got Digital Research sued. Oh, it's so pretty! I love this! Digital Research, we make computers work. ViewMax 1.0, copyright 1990. Now, does ViewMax have any desk accessories? I believe ViewMax can run the old Gem desk accessories. Doesn't look like it comes with any, though. Oh, this is so cool. I love it. So, one of my gripes with MS-DOS, one of the only gripes with MS-DOS that I have, is that you seem to need to jump through hoops to delete a directory that has files or subdirectories inside of it. MS-DOS, the RD command, needs to be only done on an empty directory. Oh, are there desk accessories? Oh, look at that, I missed them. I'm blind, I'm just completely blind. So we get a calculator. Yay, little colorful calculator. Let's give it an overall. Oh god, it's slow. Let's give it an overflow. Oh wow, it didn't even let me hit equals. And we have a clock. Yay! And these are the exact same things that GEM itself would come with. Congratulations everybody, it's October 2nd, 1955, very cool. Or is it 2055? We'll never know. For the past several years I had, of course this computer originally had a NiCad battery on the motherboard for the clock. It does have a real-time clock calendar. That battery naturally went bad and started leaking, so years ago I took it out and I replaced it with a AA battery pack with a diode, so it wouldn't attempt to charge the batteries, and I just put standard carbon zinc batteries in it, and that's how I used this computer for years. Just recently I opened it up, looked for the first time at that battery pack for the first time in like 5 years, and it was freaking disgusting, super, like, tons of leakage. Thank goodness none of it got on the motherboard. I had the wherewithal to remotely mount the battery pack so that if anything did leak, it wouldn't go on the motherboard. It did cause a small rust spot in the case. Oops. So anyway, I've cut that out. So I've got, my clock calendar is not keeping time right now. I'm going to buy some super capacitors. That's what I want to do. I'm going to put a couple of super capacitors in this thing, and I want to see how long they keep the real-time clock calendar running. Yeah, you know, it's funny you say Dr. DOS. When I was a kid, and I still have the book, I have a copy of Windows 3.1 for Dummies. And as a kid reading that book, there was a section in the book that talked about all the different DOSes that Windows 3.1 would run on, and one of the things it listed was DR-DOS, and in my head I immediately called it Dr. DOS. And I just kept saying that for years until I, you know, started learning about digital research and DR-DOS and stuff. Must be 2055. Oh yeah, that's true, so it would be 2055. I just realized the file hashing would use a fair chunk out of your memory, but if you have extended memory, you should be okay. I do not. I just have the 640K, but I'll cross that bridge when we come to it. So, what was I... Oh yeah, I was talking about... It's so hard to delete a directory that has files or subdirectories inside it. MS-DOS won't do it. Xtree won't do it. Norton Commander won't do it. I don't remember if the MS-DOS shell will do it or not. A program that I love to have on my DOS machines, because it will do it, is Norton CD, which came with later versions of Norton Utilities, 6, 7, and 8. Norton CD will happily delete a directory that has stuff inside it, which I love. So I'm wondering if will Vuemax delete a directory with subdirectories inside it. So if I go, there's our C drive. Look at that, very cool. Can I make a folder from here? Foci tree text. So I don't think I can. Which is too bad. Unless I'm missing something. What's this? That goes back. That makes it one big window. There's no right click. There's no control click. So I guess it can't do it. So we'll exit. And we will go MD test, CD test, copy con test.text. Just make a junk file here. Go back into ViewMax. Ah, Deltree. I forgot about Deltree. I don't know if I've ever remembered about Deltree. Huh. Forgot all about Deltree. I wonder if DRDOS has a Deltree. So there's our test. Can we delete it? Yes, we can. ViewMax will delete directories with stuff inside them. Cool. I like it already. Now, is there a Deltree? No, there is not. Command or file name not recognized. So, what else do we got here? We have a different looking dir command, or when you do a dir W. I'm not sure why there's a C at each going down the first column of characters. I'm just looking at what we got here. We got MemMax, which was DRDOS's memory manager. What's touch? Change file time and date stamps. Oh, that's kind of neat. Why is it called touch? Okie doke. Something I'm planning on doing too is I have the Socket 3 mini tower with me, which I've always run Windows 95 on. I have 3 Windows 95 computers, but only one computer that runs, only one computer besides this one and my IBM portable PC that run DOS. So I'm actually going to make the Socket 3 mini tower into another DOS/Windows 3.1 machine. And I'm planning on trying a different DOS on that too. I'm going to try PC-DOS 2000, which I know some people use and really like. Touches the file to update the time date stamp, but doesn't change the contents. I see. What else do we have? What's the editor like? Editor, full screen text editor. Please enter the name of the text file you wish to edit. Oh my, this is very void-like. Okay. God, there's nothing here. It's just this is almost as bad as Edlin. And at least I know how to use Edlin. I don't know how to use this. What do? Control J, help. Entering text. Control, delete. Okay. To finish editing, Control KS. Control KD. That's weird. Control KX. Okay. Control KX. And we're out. Not gonna lie, I don't like that quite as much as the MS-DOS editor. It's too Spartan. Maybe it's a continuation of something that CPM had. I don't know. What else do we have? a bunch of ViewMax stuff. Cool. I like this. We've got our command history, which I like. Of course, I think you can put DOS key from MS-DOS 5 or later onto MS-DOS 3 point whatever to get the same functionality. There's also the 4DOS DOS extender, which replaces command.com and adds a bunch of functionality, including that. So if 4DOS was something I was actually gonna play with if I stuck with MS-DOS 3.2, but to be honest, I'm kind of liking DR-DOS so far. I'm gonna want to find another text editor because the editor is a little strange. I'm planning on installing Microsoft Word anyway on this, but I'll also explore what other DOS ASCII text editors there were. Those are WordStar command keys. Oh. The editor in dr/OpenDOS 7 is much better. It looks like gem/ViewMax. Oh. I wonder if I can port it over to this, if it'll run on DR-DOS 5. I'm a big fan of Gem. I think Gem just looks so nice, so I'm always up to using stuff that looks like Gem. It's just too bad that Gem itself had so few programs. Absolutely love the shell. Gives me Windows 3.1 and Mac vibes, judging for the windows and background. Touch can also be used to generate an empty file by using a new file name. Oh, interesting. Okay, cool. Partially out of laziness, but partially because I'm enjoying DR-DOS so far, I'm just going to keep it on here. It still uses... If I started with 21 megabytes, which I think I did, it's using a little over a megabyte of space, which is more than MS-DOS 3.2, but only like a couple hundred kilobytes more. So I'm not robbing myself of hard drive space. I won't even bother installing Norton Utilities, or at the very least I'll install an earlier version of Norton Utilities, like 4.5 Advanced Edition, so that'll use less hard drive space. I might not even bother with Windows. But something I want to try, something I've never used before, is Norton Desktop. Now, Cathode Ray Dude did an amazing video. It's one of his early videos. It's one of the videos that, like, got him popular on YouTube. He did a video about Norton Desktop for Windows. And I've never used it, so I never knew how cool it was. And it's really cool, and I recommend you watch that video if you've never looked at Norton Desktop before. But there was also Norton Desktop for DOS. They only ever released one version. And it's a hefty program. It's like the installation's like 6 megabytes. And unfortunately, the only full copy of the full version of it on WinWorld is for high-density 5 1/4 inch floppy disks. So I want to install Norton Desktop for DOS on this, but I'm going to have to do it by using WinZip to zip the entire contents, unzip it onto the hard drive of this computer, and then just run setup from the hard drive. So I guess the first thing I should do is go through my backup of files that I have and put pkzip back on the hard drive. What is this? Oh, this is an MS-DOS 5 installer. We can do this. What the heck happened? My shift key broke? I guess so. You know, it's funny. While I was setting up this stream earlier today, in the description I used the word gonna, G-O-N-N-A. And I did a typo and I typed finna, which I think a lot of people know what finna is. It's like a slang term, and I thought it was just a slang term that people used for fun. or maybe slang term in a genuine variation of English dialect. But I accidentally learned today that finna likely originated as just a typo of gonna. Anyway. Right, so I forget what I was doing. Oh yeah, PK Zip. How many people are watching? I haven't even looked. We have 14! It's like the most in a long time. The last live stream I did, which was a Kerbal Space Program live stream, it had 1 viewer, ever. And, I don't know if I'm going to do any more Kerbal Space Program live streams after that, because 1 viewer kind of sucked. So, I just want to decipher this dir W for a moment, because it's obviously doing some stuff. It says A, park.bat, yep, config.sys, autoexec.bat, and then we have :/spinwrite, there's a spinwrite directory, :/pkzip, A :/audio drive. Okay. It's a little convoluted. I do see what they're doing and how this dir is laid out. The colons as a separator. Yeah, I guess it makes sense. Oh, what am I doing? We should use Vuemax to copy files over. What are we doing? Can I do it right from here? Huh, yes I can. Not that that's anything special, I think MS-DOS does the same thing. Let's use Vuemax to copy some stuff over. So we're going to go into the hard disk here. We're going to go into our floppy drive here. And we can just go, whoop. Nice. I love it. Well, I think one of the important things I did was I scheduled this stream. I scheduled it like 2 hours in advance, or an hour and a half, or something like that. And I guess something that works against me is I don't like to schedule streams. I like to just do it as soon as my brain decides that it wants to do it. And I think that works against me. When you schedule something, people know it's coming, and then they'll be more likely to find it because they'll find it ahead of time when they just happen to be on YouTube. SpinWrite I won't copy over. I should just put SpinWrite 2 on a floppy disk. So my sound card stuff, I wonder how my sound card's going to behave in DR-DOS. Another issue is I have an autoexec and a config.sys, but they were for MS-DOS. So I'll have to just manually move stuff from one to the other, because I'm assuming not everything's going to be compatible. I will move park.com into my C drive. What's this? Oh, that's to make a new folder. Oh, that's almost Apple Lisa-like. So instead of going into a menu, they just give you a folder and you double-click on it to make a new folder. Oh, that's kind of like what the Lisa Office system does. Another thing that Gem kind of stole from, or ripped off from Apple in a way. I don't know if Gem had that, but Vuemax has it. It's kind of cool though, very cute. How do I go up? How do I go up a directory? Do I do this? Yes, I do. I will copy the ESS audio, audio drive. that is all on this floppy. So, can I just delete everything? Give me a blank floppy? And delete key doesn't work. That's fine. Oh, I can't. Oh, I've highlighted the new folder. Whoops. Oh, come on. Okay. It only lets you go from top left to bottom right. Oops, and I accidentally got the new folder. There we go. Okay, delete doesn't work. That's fine. There we go. Oh wait, no, I don't want to do that. My autoexec and config.sys are here. Can I rename files? Yes, I can. Autoexec.flow. So you don't have to click the menus, you just mouse over them and they automatically open, which is a little bit weird behavior. OpenGem gave you the option to either do that or click them. Maybe the preferences. Confirm copies. No, don't confirm copies. Saving various, sure. To drop down menus, click. That's a little more natural for me. Sound effects, I haven't heard anything yet. There we go. Name. Flow. And I'll deal with that later, with merging my sound card drivers with this, and hopefully it works. Can I control click? Can I shift click? Yes, I can. It's been years since I've touched OpenGem, so I've forgotten all the nuances. Alright, those are there. So now I can delete everything, I think. Yep, spin right, I'll just re-download it and put it on a floppy. Oh, I love being able to delete subdirectories. Or delete directories that aren't empty. Cool. So that disk is empty. And then this disk, F5. Ha! Look at that. Almost like they were thinking ahead of time. Sound Blaster stuff, Bananacom. What? Why is this here? Okay, did that by accident. That's fine. So these things can, whoops. Apparently, I'm the type of person that always starts at the bottom and goes up. But you can't do that in ViewMax. That's probably something they had to neuter out of Gem because of the Apple lawsuit. so I just want to try something. Can I hit Alt-D for... Oops. Aw, you jerk. Can I hit Alt-D for delete? Control-D? D. No. But I can go Alt-F and D? Okay. Okay, that floppy is empty. I have a limited number of double density floppy disks compared to high density disks, so I have a feeling I'm going to need a lot of them to move Norton desktop over. Oh yes, this zip file. Right. Let's go ahead and unzip that. Make sure pkzip actually runs on DRDOS. So pk unzip, and I think there's a switch you have to do for directories. I think it's D, but I'm not sure, so I'm going to request the help. Actually, I think it wants dashes. D, restore create directory structures or stored in zip file. Okay. pk unzip dasb pro.zip, and actually I don't want to do that yet. I'm going to make the directory, or I assume I'm going to make the directory MB SB pro. Okay. pk unzip dasb pro.zip c sb pro. How's that for some command line skills? I wonder if pk unzip makes use of the 8087. I don't know. Maybe you can't make use of a math coprocessor. Oh, I don't need to specify the .zip? Interesting. Well, I think it's almost muscle memory to do so. God, look at all this hard drive space wasting songs. It's like megabytes grow on trees or something. There's quite a significant delay you guys have, by the way, between when the screen actually does something and when you guys see it. It's like a third of a second. It's because of the S-video to HDMI conversion from the DVD recorder. Alright. And was that the only thing on there? Yes, it was. Alright, so the reason I did that was to free up some disks so that I can start zipping Norton desktops. So, this is the part that's going to become less exciting because we're doing it on a modern computer, but I've already extracted all of these onto the desktop. Right here. So I've got to zip all these. I'm going to use WinZip 7 because WinZip 7 has the ability to span a zip file across multiple floppy disks, which is nice. Whoops. So we're just going to start doing that and hope we don't get a bad disk. If anybody knows if newer versions of WinZip have the same function, I'd be interested to know. I know WinZip 7 and I think at least a few earlier versions do it. I don't know if any newer ones do it though. New archive. Floppy disk. nd.zip. WinZip 7, this is from like 1996 or 7 or something. Okay, so we want to add, as you can tell by the old file picker API. Actually, I'll keep the directory. So we want the directory, compression, maximum, multiple disk spanning automatic. Oh, can I not add the directory? Fine. All of these. What? How do I? There we go. Add. Because as you can see by the not responding in the title name, WinZip 7, being as old as it is, runs just slightly jankily on Windows 10. I'm happy that it works at all. I actually don't normally do this stuff on a modern computer. I actually boot up a Windows XP machine, go on the internet with it using the MyPal browser, and I do all my floppy disk imaging duties in Windows XP. That's our first disk. Oh, can 7-zip do it? I never used 7-zip. What? The F are you talking about? What? How? Oh, I get this sometimes on the Windows XP machine even. I've got to go here and here. It doesn't realize the disk has changed. So I gotta... See, this USB floppy drive has automatic detection, but sometimes it doesn't work. So I gotta like eject and insert the disk. There we go. Typing DEL period is a shortcut. Really? On like DOS in general? Are you kidding? That's like the coolest shortcut ever. I didn't know that. Hold on, I'm just gonna try this. Oh, whoops, I'm in the root directory. Oops. I also know that I don't have to put .txt at the end. At least I don't think I do, but I just do. Huh. That's rad. That's really cool. Huh. Learn something new every day. It's funny, like, did that only start with, like, newer versions of DOS? Because, I have a book that I read as a kid. It's how I taught myself to use MS-DOS. It was a book that came with our Tandy 1000EX. It was basically a big, like, tutorial book for DOS. It was based on MS-DOS 2.11, I think. And, it didn't, I feel like if it had that shortcut, I would have remembered it, but I don't know. Maybe I just never committed it to memory. Very cool. So now I gotta find, because I want to find this OpenDOS text editor that's also based on Gem. So let's see. Uh-oh. What? Is that disk not empty? Uh-oh. Oh, this disk has bad sectors on it. Oh, well, that's the end of that. Ah, crap. Okay, put that disk there. Let's find this OpenDOS text editor. Is OpenDOS here? No. Is it part of the DRDOS? Maybe? Let's try this. Now, the only problem is it's probably going to be several files. And maybe they're even compressed. Maybe I have to grab it after installing it. Oh wow, they give you every version. That's interesting. Start at disk 5. I guess I should ask what the name of this editor is. OpenDOS 7 editor. Was it 7? I think it's 7. I gotta scroll back in the chat. Do. Where am I? I've got too many things open. It could also possibly be multiple files. Is it text util? Maybe it's text util. Probably compressed. Ooh. Ooh, is it edit? Could it be edit? I don't know. Let's throw it on a floppy. Westlife found it. We'll see if what I found here works, or if it's something different. Data error! Man, this floppy's not that great, is it? Uh-oh. Did we freeze? I hit R. Uh-oh. Oh, we've had our first lockup. Because of a bad sector on a floppy disk. Oh, Control-Delete doesn't even work. Oh, the pain. Oh, man. Couldn't park the drive heads or anything. Tisk tisk. Yeah, I'll format this floppy, because clearly there's bad sectors on it that have not been identified. Oops. See what the format program looks like. Ah, it still gives you heads and tracks. MS-DOS 5 switched to a just a percent indicator. Oh, I have URLs blocked because of spammers. Oh, I wonder if I can unblock that from here. Let's see. Security moderation. If you message it to me on Mastodon, I think I can post it in the write protected. What? What are you talking about? I don't have write protect turned on. What are you talking about? Is this computer falling apart? Like, what's going on? Let's see. Block links. Okay. Haha. Okay, I've just unchecked URL blocking, so you should be able to paste it now. Hopefully. I blocked URLs and I blocked certain emojis, and that completely wiped out the bot spammers in the comments on my videos, and that's why my videos never have bot spammers in the comments, because that's the trick to wiping them out. Block links and block the pointing up emoji. I think block the up arrow emoji, and there's one other emoji, and that wipes out the spam bots, because that's everything they do. 360K. Oh! I don't have my friggin' floppy disk. Right. So the BIOS in this computer technically only supports 360K disk drives, but there's a program you can run, which I've completely neglected to auto-exec on this, to enable 720K capability. So I forgot to run that. Oops. Okay, let's fix that right now. Put in my MS-DOS 3.2 floppy. So if anybody has this issue, the program, you can find it on the internet. It's called set BPB35, and then you just indicate the drive letter. And now it's a 720K drive. I forget if it's a COM or an EXE. I'll just do this. Huh. peach and eggplant. Let's edit my auto exec. So let's go editor auto exec.bat, I assume will work. What is this? The drdos beg and drdos end labels tell the setup program which rem statements it should process. Put any additional statements for rem drdos between these two labels. Okay. Patsy drdos. So I should just stick it. Oh, I want to bring my speed program over to it and run that so that I sent link on Mastodon. Run that so it automatically switches to 10 megahertz. Aha. Okay. It is on his website, amstereo.org, a website that I recommend if you want to see a cool website and also a website that works in vintage web browsers. Paste. Ding. Okay, now I'm going to download it. Oops, do I need to do HTTP? And stereo. Why don't I just paste it, dummy? p:// There we go. I assume it's TTP and not PS. What happened? Oh, friggin' Chrome is blocking the download. Okay, hold on. There we go. Oh, maybe it is PS. Okay, you might have to do HTTPS. Where is it? There we go. dredit.com. Dated 1999, 100 kilobytes in size. That might be the same program that I managed to find before I stuck in a bad floppy disk. Let's stick this floppy disk back in now that it's formatted. And we will extract that. Go to drive A. So what was I doing? I need to add my set BPB35A, and I also, even before that, I need to run speed 2, which I don't have copied on yet, but I will do that very shortly. And then I want Control K X, and then put in this. Oops. That's another thing this computer's been doing. It's just started doing that like this week, where it'll start like missing keyboard strokes and beeping instead, as if some invalid scan code was sent. And I hope it's the keyboard like having an issue and not the computer having an issue. I'll have to bring the original keyboard here and see if it does the same thing. There we go. Oh, whoops. Did I not save changes? It's funny because I thought it said saving file, but did I make a boo-boo? No, I saved. I thought KX saved. Right. So let's try this edit program. I'm very excited to see it. dredit. So it's a text mode program. No, it isn't. No, it is graphics mode. It looks kind of like text mode. It's not quite as no mouse support. I don't know why I thought there would be. So it's not quite as gem-like, but I do see some resemblance. Test.text. No, it's actually it's visually simple, a bit like the editor that comes with DRDOS 5. But it does have some enhancements. You got a scroll bar, you've got a menu bar, which is a big improvement. I guess that doesn't really make it as simple. It's about as featured as the MS-DOS editor. Very cool. Full screen editor version 2.02, 1998, Caldera Incorporated. It's weird. I think it's running in graphics mode, but it looks so much like it's running in text mode. Like you've got this hard drop shadow. Love me some ANSI drop shadows. I think it's running in text or graphics mode. What's DOSBook? Something it doesn't have. Help for help. DOS shell. What's that do? Oh, it literally shells to DOS. Huh. Oh, and these must be temporary files it makes, I guess. And if I go exit, and we're back. What an intriguing program. Cool. So what's typing on it? The quick goes. Cool. Yeah, I like it. Does it wrap around automatically? It does not. Is there an option to wrap around? There is not. Which is fine. I mean, if you were doing something you wanted wraparound for, you'd have a proper word processor. Do you wish to save it? No. Oops. N. That's very cool. Thank you for digging that up. I shall copy that over. Oh, or yeah, so the edges are getting cut off in the video capture. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's because because the scan converter, there's normally so much overscan, or underscan rather, that I've cropped it to fit the nice video modes that don't make the monitor do weird gymnastics. This program is not quite as well behaved graphically. The MS-DOS shell is the same way. When you go into some of the graphics modes, it makes a VGA, it makes a multi-scan monitor do some gymnastics, and the picture gets shifted off the boundaries of the, or off the edge of the screen, and yeah. So this edit program is in a weird video mode. I'll just see what it looks like. I neglected to look at it over here. Well, maybe it wasn't before. Oh, I see. Yeah, the top is cut off. Okay, maybe just to be safe, because I don't know what other programs I'm going to be looking at, that we're going to be looking at today. Maybe I'll just fix this right now, give it a bit more leeway. There, I'll do that. There. that? Studio mode. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was more normal just to it was automatically muscle memory to do a carriage return anyway. Exit. Oops. Alt X. There we go. Okay, that was cool. I might rename that. I'll just rename it Edit. So, we wanted to try Norton Desktop for DOS, something I've also never played with before. So now I need to go back to the wonderful world of dealing with double density floppy disks in Windows 10. New. I guess I should have double clicked. And I want to overwrite this. Open existing file? No. Does that mean it's going to overwrite it? Nope, I think it just didn't do anything. Okay. Delete. And D2. And maximum automatic. And all of these. Seeing ViewMax, and you know, I liked OpenGem. Gem is just it's a cool GUI. And while I liked OpenGem, OpenGem was one person's project, and it very much has a lot of amateur hour aspects about it. Funny enough, if you want to play with OpenGem, you need to use OpenGem 5. For some reason, OpenGem 6 and 7, they're both incomplete for some reason. OpenGem 5 was the last complete version of OpenGem. But OpenGem, as nice as it is, and I don't blame the person at all, because it was just one person's fun project. There's a lot of amateur hour stuff in it, just like the installation batch files expect you to run the install from like the root directory of the zip drive, and if you don't, then everything breaks, and stuff like that. But playing with ViewMax and getting all those warm fuzzy feelings just because I'm a big fan of Gem, it makes me want to try Gem, but try the real Gem, which is something I've never done, like get the actual digital research full Gem and install it, and then manually scrounge up some Gem software from wherever you can find it on the internet, and just play with Gem as it originally was. OpenGem has a lot of enhancements that were pulled, because ViewMax that comes with DR-DOS 5 looks very much like the normal Gem, but I think the ViewMax that came with DR-DOS 6 had some UI enhancements, like 3D style buttons and stuff, and all that stuff got carried over to OpenGem. So OpenGem has these nice UI enhancements, animated window opening and closing, and 3D buttons, and it's all very nice and much more modern looking. But now I want to play with the original Gem and see what kind of programs I can get running on it. I hope all these floppy disks work. I haven't used any of my typewriters in quite a while. I don't have to write letters usually anymore. Now, earlier this year when I had my identity stolen, I wrote quite a lot of letters, but it was for very important reasons, and so I just did it on a computer. I might make a video someday about the identity theft thing. I went through, like, full-blown, like, identity theft, like, credit ruining, like, dozens of letters from banks coming to my apartment. Like, someone full-blown stole my identity and went to every bank in Canada applying for credit cards with it. It's all fixed now. It took a lot of work and a lot of stress. Hours and hours, dozens of hours of phone calls. Oh, son of a bitch. Pardon my language. Disk full. And it's still doing stuff. Anyway, I might make a video about that someday. Just give some advice on what I did to get it fixed. Of course, I thought I was going to make a video about the process of healing my finger after I cut a piece of it off too, but I never did that. I guess I just don't like making videos about negative stuff, even if that stuff ultimately had a positive outcome. Okay, we found another floppy with a bad sector. I thought all these floppies were fine. Now I'm going to have to restart this again. I'm giving it a new file name every time just so I don't get an error that, oh, the file already exists on the disk or whatever. Alright. Third time's the charm? Maybe? But yeah, I haven't touched any of my typewriters in a while. I have one that I haven't even made a video yet. It was one that was given to me by a friend. It's a Smith Corona that's exactly like the first typewriter I ever had, the CXL 4200, which I gave to my ex. It's the exact same thing but gray in color, and it has a different model name, because that's what Smith Corona did. They were the Casio of typewriters, making tons of different models that all had the exact same feature set. I might make a video about that someday. And then I'll just give it away to the thrift store or whatever. Wonder if LS120 drives can read and write double density floppies. Anybody know? Or do they just do high density ones? Disc 3, give it up for Disc 3. Someone messaged me on Mastodon and said OS 5 is more fun than Norton Desktop. OS 5? Never even heard of that. I don't know why I thought Googling such a short name would bring it up. Wonder if WinWorld has it. They sent me a URL to download it. I've just never heard of it. WinWorld search really is useless. Is it a slash? It's only 196K. Oh. Well, I'll have to explore this OS 5, but first, I'm interested to see what the Norton desktop for DOS looks like. I wonder if I put Windows 3.0 back on this, which I may or may not, but if I do, I wonder if Norton Desktop for Windows will run on real mode Windows 3.0 with 640K of RAM, or if it'll just fall on its face. Oh, you... Says it's empty. What ails you? You can't find OS 5 anywhere. That's why I had to upload it to my site. Weird! Okay. Oops. I probably shouldn't do that when WinZip is writing a floppy disk. Existing WinZip, do you want to start another WinZip set? You know what? I'm going to play it safe and say no. I'm trying to get these floppies written without having a bad disk occur on disk 196. So by the looks of it, there's going to be 9 or 10 floppies for Norton Desktop. You want to know something amazing though? Another GUI that I've never played with before that I want to try is GeoWorks. Now, if you read up on the history of GeoWorks, GeoWorks was a GUI by many names over its history. It started as GEOS on the Commodore 64 and the Apple II GS, became GeoWorks on the IBM PC. Later in its life, it was bought by a company called New Deal and continued as New Deal Office. Or no, after GeoWorks it was called Breadbox Ensemble, and then it was called New Deal Office. And then another company bought New Deal, and it became... No, Breadbox Ensemble was the final iteration. It was GeoWorks, New Deal Office, Breadbox Ensemble, I think. Anyway, New Deal Office... The whole thing with GeoWorks was it required very low system requirements for a release's particular time. The initial GeoWorks releases in the early 90s only needed an 8088 and I think like 512K of RAM. New Deal Office, even New Deal Office 2000, which came out in 1999, I think, only needed a 286. And just for fun, I copied the contents of Disk 1 of New Deal Office 2000 onto this computer, and I ran the install program, and it freaking ran, and it began installing. I would have finished installing, except I physically couldn't because it requires more than 20 megabytes of hard drive space. But how funny would it be if New Deal Office 2000 runs on this XT machine? If I ever put the IDE hard drive back in, I'll definitely have to try it. But it really did begin installing. It got through the first set of files that would normally be on disk 1 of a high-density floppy disk set. It makes me wonder if the NEC V20, like, if that's the reason it worked. Or would it install and then just not run because it actually needs protected memory mode? I don't know. What can I close? I can close that. I can close that. I'll leave that open. And I can close that. Oh, we're getting there. It's a shame that it doesn't have some sort of, you would think WinZip has some sort of failsafe where if a floppy disk is bad, it'll just say insert another disk and try again. But instead it just completely pukes out, and you lose the entire span. Am I still streaming at 10 megabits per second? I am. Why? That's weird. Is it overriding this because I connected my YouTube account? Because I'm a dummy and thought it would give me more enhancements than it actually does? Don't know, but nobody has complained, so... Oh, we're getting close. This might be the last disc. If it fails at this point, I may cry. Yeah, I'd like to know if newer versions of WinZip do, oh, somebody, I never read it, somebody way early in the chat talked about how 7-Zip has, floppy disk spanning. I gotta find that. But yeah, these old versions of WinZip, they're fun. WinZip 1.0 actually runs on Windows 3.0 on this computer. It's one of the few Windows 3.0 programs that'll run on an XT. Yay! It did it! Okay. So, now you guys get to watch a 10 megahertz XT decompress 8 floppy disks of a zip file. MD, call this MD setup. PK unzip. There is no directory structure. A ND3. I'm not going to put the .zip because apparently I don't have to. CND setup. Insert the last disk of the set. Insert disk 1. Fun fact, that beep that the computer just made is literally a sped up version of the beep it makes when it does the memory test, because it is the same beep, but it's going faster because the computer's in turbo mode right now. It's a weird beep. That's just what this computer's based on, this generic, oh, you piece of garbage. Oh, floppy disks. Okay. Oh no. Oh, file fails. CRC check. If it keeps going, I'll just copy that file manually. Let me just write down the name of that. be.exe. This is where having an XT-CF card would come in handy. Just throw everything onto a CF and stick it in there. I've actually been considering buying one. Of course, I already have an XT IDE, and you can buy a CF adapter for an XT IDE, but you can't buy... I don't think you can get an expansion slot adapter so that you can externally pull out a card. Floppy disk is, or the floppy drive's still doing something. I'll admit, I have better luck with double density 3.5 inch floppy disks than I do with 5.25 inch disks, but they're still quite unreliable compared to a high density 3.5 inch disk. Although I normally don't have this much trouble. Uh-oh. Inconsistent log. Okay, bitmap.vu. I'll copy that one manually. Oh, jeez. Of course, my USB floppy drive could be a big problem as well. Oh, no. It is trying. Just based on how it sounds, I think it's getting a little farther. Or maybe it's not. Okay, what happens if I hit ignore? File is bad table, file fails CRC check. Okay, disktool.exe is bad too. I mean, I deal with this stuff on a regular basis, and it's nothing to me, but when you're doing a live stream and you want to perform for people, it's a little bit embarrassing when you're dealing with crappy floppy disks. Why is it? I use these discs all the time. I don't know why it's having so much issue. I don't know if something's going out of alignment or what. I can't tell if I can't tell if it's slowly getting through it or if it's just, or if it just does a bit of a song and dance before it brings up the error. Okay, we'll do an ignore on that. You may need to bulk erase the disks. I've thought of getting a bulk eraser. Although I've generally found that formatting them in this computer makes them work reliably across even the USB drive as well. Pretty sure if we're here in the stream, we all know the floppy struggle. Something else I'd kind of like to put on this is Desk View. I had Desk View installed on the IDE hard drive back in the day. I don't know if, I don't really do anything with Desk View though. There's so much software that I install because it's cool and not because I actually do stuff with it. Like the full Microsoft Office suite, what am I going to do with Excel, right? Man, oh man. Sector not found. Oh, I think what pkzip does is it goes back to the beginning of the file, and that's why it sounds like the floppy drive is possibly getting through those bad reads. But they're not actually getting through them. I think that's pkzip seeking it back. Yeah, so I'll just ignore. So what file is that? I'm not sure if that's gview2.zip or... Oh, good lord. So gview2.zip. Well, I hope the rest of the disks are better than this one is. Inconsistent local header for icon.arc.zip. Good lord. This is not going well. Ignore. Image.exe. Wow, this whole disk is like I don't know if my USB drive accidentally wrote that entire disk out of alignment. Like, what is going on? Oh, we might be dead in the water here now. I could do that again and just write the first disc of the span again. Maybe I'll actually give that a shot. I tried that before and it actually worked. Because apparently we're not going to get past this. What happens if I fail? Oh, there we go. Install.cfg. Oh, it's on disk 2 now. Yay! Install.cfg. Wow. What's this disk look like? It looks perfect. Alright, let's hope the other discs go better. Holy Lord. Why? Why do you want disc 1 again? What? Why did it ask to go to disc 2? I've never seen PK Unzip do this. I remember being in kindergarten, in the computers in our kindergarten homeroom, they all had Windows 3.1, of course, and they had ClarisWorks. And I used to play with the ClarisWorks spreadsheet program, not even to make charts and stuff, which I don't think the ClarisWorks spreadsheet program does. Maybe it does, I don't remember, but I used to just aimlessly type data into a spreadsheet for fun when I was 5 years old. Shows the kind of kid I was, I guess. So maybe I'll just put this disc down here and I'll grab another one. Oh, I've already got one in there. Okay. And I'll just write that disc 1 again. Just for funsies. Oh, you jerk. Okay, we might not be playing with Norton Utilities for DOS. Because I'm having just the worst time with floppy disks right now. I'm going to keep my list of files. That was NB Q80B.ovl. Okay. Q80R.ovl. Well, I hope PK Unzip's error checking is working. I hope it's not copying any files that it thinks are all good and it turns out to be corrupt. Like the boss key in Tetris. Oh yeah, it displays a fake Lotus 123 spreadsheet. I wonder how long you could get away with that. Like, in the era of Windows 95, if you hit that and a obvious, super old, fake Lotus 123 spreadsheet comes up, if you could still get away with it. You know, the fit hits the shan when you get a sector not found error. Yeah, really. Where did it go? Nobody knows. This stream is now lo-fi stepper motor vibes to chill to. Or no, lo-fi stepper motor beats to chill to. NB sketch.ovl. No, apparently Norton Desktop came with a couple of Norton utilities. It came with, backup and speed disk, I think, and maybe undelete. So yeah, it's a big program. nd.zip. Ugh. Alright, disk 4. So far we have not had a clean disk in all of this. Oh, good lord. Beep. Another beep. Okay, apparently that's the only file on that disk. I'm going to start copying those, that That beep makes me think of walkie-talkie PTT sound. I'm just going to start copying over those corrupt files. That and this. Well, the nice thing is that WinZip copied everything in alphabetical order. It didn't do any mumbo-jumbo stuff to try and optimize what fits on a disk. It looks like Norton Desktop might have a text editor. Insert disk 6. Oh, what whimsical fun we're having here. I think it actually does 2 beeps in series, because in turbo mode only 1 beep would be too short. Well, when it's not in turbo mode, it still sounds like multiple beeps in rapid succession. I think it's 4 of them. I think it goes beep, 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 beep. And so I think my assumption personally is that if when it's in turbo mode, it's still doing that, but it's so fast that you don't hear it all. You don't hear all 3 or 4 of them or whatever there are. It's also possible that the waveforms are just kind of like blending together or something. Alright, so those files got copied. Things seem to be going a bit more smoothly now. I can tell the hard drive's starting to fill up, starting to seek further. Okay, this floppy disk is definitely needs some work. Insert disk 7. Wait. Oh, over here. I'm like, where's my discs? I got different piles of discs going on. Nine watching, oof. I don't know why that's oof. That's pretty darn good. I don't have 1 million subscribers. I have 10,000 subscribers, so that's a pretty good ratio. personally, I think. The name is DOS. Dr. DOS. Disc 8, this is the last one. Time for it to fail, and we all unalive ourselves. Almost done. It's actually kind of impressive. The decompression doesn't actually take as long as just the copying of it from has errors. Yeah, you're friggin' telling me. The decompression doesn't take as long at 10 megahertz as simply copying it from the floppy. So, now I'm going to copy over the files that I couldn't do. So, does this work? I'm going to try it. C and D setup. Oh my god, it does. Wow. Huh. Learn something new every day. So was Apex a knockoff? Oh, Zenith? Apex? Huh, that's an interesting proposition. think Apex is a better name than Action Note. What a dumb name for a laptop. Okay. And through the magic of the DR-DOS history feature, we're going to do that again. There's still Epson branded computers being sold? Really? Are they like in foreign markets? I know Epson still makes dot matrix printers, which is kind of neat. They're expensive as hell. I wouldn't be surprised if Zenith sold an actual rebrand of this very computer. Packard Bell did. It was called the PB500, and V Westlife used to own one. Oakley dokley. So, unless PKZip or PKUnzip mistakenly copied a corrupt file, we should be ready to run the setup. So what do we got now? Wow. That's almost half the hard drive space used that quickly. And is it installed? Okay, here we go. Symantec had already bought Peter Norton Computing by 1992 and slowly ruined them. We want color. Because we're such cheerful people. It's a very pretty interface. I'm a fan of this interface too. Important! Refer to the emergency data recovery card in the Norton desktop package if your hard disk contains erased files that you want to unerase. You need to recover from accidentally formatting the hard disk. The installation program copies Norton Desktop from the installation diskettes to the directory you choose on your hard disk. Allows you to modify your config sys and auto-exec bat files to make full use of Norton Desktop. You also have the opportunity to configure Norton Desktop to your preferences and for optimal performance on your system. You may skip any step along the way. You may cancel the installation and return to DOS prompt at any time. What the hell is all this? F-word? I saw F-word in there. Oh, are these viruses? Are these the viruses of old? Wow. We're watching a who's who of vintage computer viruses. Naughty hacker. That sounds like that sounds like some smut some vintage computer pornography. Okay. 8 MB. Holy crap, this is bigger. I think this is bigger than Windows 3.0. Good lord. What are the custom options? Yeah, that's fine. Norton Desktop, viewers, graphics, scheduler, and screensaver. Oh, mail, we don't need that. Antivirus, we don't need. Backup, we don't really need. Norton menu, not really sure what that is. Norton Disk Doctor, sure. The best file recovery tool around. Yeah, sure. 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 No. It sounds like something that would steal memory. Speed disk I don't really care about because I like listening to that hard drive seek for its life, but we'll leave it anyway. Yeah, it really is. It really installs a big subset of the Norton utilities. No. Man. Okay. Get ready to listen to that hard drive. When all the files you've selected have been installed, you can configure Norton Desktop to your liking. Configure. Sure. You know what? If I decide I don't like this, I can just delete everything and wipe everything if I have to. Wait, what does the 30 mean? Oh, that's how long it takes to install. Okay. No. Smart Can is like, it's like a recycle bin basically. I don't want that. You know what? I don't want Smart Can. I want to go back. Give me backwards. Back. Okay, fine. We're just going to continue because I don't know how to go back. Cool. I didn't want to talk while it was doing that. I wanted to allow everyone to savor the hard drive sounds. Yeah, it really does sound like a K-Lock Octagon, and it looks like one too. Like the shape of the case is similar, except that it actually works. Except this one may start having spindle motor issues again. I'm not sure. Yeah, Semantic Magazine. I don't know. I wonder if that's on Google Books. But like you say, it probably wasn't a real magazine. It was probably just a newsletter. Semantic Magazine. Nope, it's not on Google Books, so it probably wasn't a real magazine. Install can make changes to your config sys and auto-exec. Sure. All of the programs will now be copied to your hard disk. Some TSR programs will start up when you restart your computer. Okay. I don't want to start SmartCam. Oops. Oops, okay. Okie doke. Boy, that added some time to boot up. Okay, is it just ND? Wow, and there it is. Welcome to the Norton desktop. Would you like a brief tour demonstrating how to access the program? Sure. Guided tour. God, this program is so big for an XT. This is like this is 1992. This really wants like a 286 at least, or a 386. It's such a bloated program. It certainly wants something bigger than a 20 meg hard drive. This is cool though. Norton Desktop gives you a new kind of visual access to your files and programs, much like Microsoft Windows. Is that what they were going after? Do I have a mouse? Nope, I don't. I haven't installed a mouse driver yet. Oh, good lord. They want like half an hour for this. Yeah, I know all this. Well, that's right. In 1992, tons of people still using XTs. My math teacher used this computer until 1997. That's when this computer's original life ended. 1997 for this thing, which is just amazing. Okay, I really don't need to do this. I know how to use a computer. I'm wasting your guys' time. It's fun listening to the hard drive do its thing, though. Alright, can I get out of this? Every button is continue. What? Can I break? Can I... There's gotta be a way to get out of this. Like, they wouldn't program this and not give you a way out. Oh, am I in? Still don't have a mouse. Okay, I'm in now. Wow, it has to access the hard drive every time I press the arrow key. Oh no, I don't now. Well, this is interesting. I guess I need to install a mouse driver. Ooh, can we go into... We're in text mode right now, I think? No, this might be graphics mode. I can't tell. Because they're using the little icons there, so we must be in graphics mode, but it looks like text mode. Display mode. What have I done? Okay, not sure what that did. Oh, with a modified character set. Right. Right, you are. How do I open menus? Oh, F10, pull down. Nope. Oh. I want to pull down this menu, but I literally can't. Wait, what if I just hit M? Alt M? Control M? Nope. Let's look at our calculator. Alt down arrow? Oh, I should have done the tutorial. See, I'm floundering now because I skipped the tutorial. I'm like a bad Let's Player. What the hell? It's using the arrow keys as part of the numpad. Huh, it's using the cursor control keys. Weird. Well, there's our calculator. Can I make it overflow? Times. Hell yeah. Okay. Does Alt spacebar close it? Oh, it gets me there. Oh, Alt F4. Wow. See if it buffers keystrokes. I think it does. Yes, it does. Nope. Oh, it's control down arrow. Wow. Oh, okay. So that's what you get. Display lines. Ooh, this is what changes the video mode. Okay, guys, we're going to go into some unsavory, less behaved video modes. Let's get her done. Okay, that's what we were already in, obviously. Ooh, okay. Cool. Oh boy, I see my scan converter starting to struggle. Ooh boy, it looks good on my monitor. It doesn't look very good on your guys' monitor. Oh boy, cool. There's very thick scan lines on my monitor now. Wow. That actually is better behaved for you guys than the last mode was. Wow, that's a lot of screen real estate. This is a cool program. It's bloated as hell for what I'm running it on. But it's really cool. I like it. If I had more hard drive space, I'd keep it. Very fun. Cool. I'll try and remember that 32 years from now. So it's programmed nicely in that it doesn't give you the options. Oh, it does give you options for stuff you didn't install. I didn't install the antivirus. I don't think I did. Yeah. Okay, never mind. It's not programmed nicely. TSR unavailable. The scheduler date is currently not in memory, therefore event scheduled will not be executed. Okay. So this is for scheduling, like, computer maintenance? Yeah, it runs commands. Okay, that's cool. Oh yeah, that's right. They took away the graphical stuff. I'll go back in the normal mode. This mode's making my eyes a little weird. So what else? I wish I had a mouse. I'm too lazy to install a mouse driver. Oh right, the screensaver! We almost forgot the screensaver. What? Oh, okay. That's fine. Ooh, okay, what do we get? Holy crap! What? What the world? I didn't expect all this. I guess we'll go into random. Oops. Test. Oh, that's very cute. Wow. I can't believe it actually comes with this. Who needs After Dark? Huh. Okay. Let's do that again. Okay, that looks like a video card failure. Oh yes, I forgot to say, happy almost Independence Day to the Americans watching. I want to see what floppies is. Wow, it's almost a copy of Flying Toasters. Huh. This is actually impressive. They didn't need to include this, but they did. That's actually really impressive. This program, no wonder this program is so huge. It's got a lot of stuff in it. Kaleidoscope. Whoa, that's cool. You know, back when I had the IDE hard drive in this computer, I had After Dark 1.0 installed on top of Windows 3.0, and one of the screensavers that comes with After Dark 1.0 for Windows, it's called Stained Glass, and it's like my favorite screensaver ever. It's beautiful, I love it. I would love for you to be able to celebrate Canada Day. This is very pretty. This would probably be the one I choose just because it looks so pretty. Boy, there's so much hard drive access in this software. What's message? Really? Is that it? That's kind of fun. Could program something unsavory in there. Don't touch my damn computer or something like that. I assume you can configure it. Yeah, you can. There's a configure button. Someone said put farts on it. I think I beat you to the chase there. Yeah, I think I used to know quite a lot about immigrating from a foreign country to Canada. I don't know any of it anymore. I don't think it's terribly hard from the US, especially if you're skilled. It's too bad it's only yellow. I thought it'd be multiple colors. Maybe that's in the configure. No, you just get yellow. Okay. Ah! I did not do that. What's it doing? What is going on? What's going on? I think this keyboard is failing. There's a freaking ghost control in this thing. Bruh. Oh yeah, there's random keystrokes being thrown right now. Help. Okay, stop. And the name of love. I hope that's this keyboard acting up and not the computer acting up. If the computer's doing that, I don't even know where to begin with diagnosing that. Yeah, no, spacebar. Yeah, spacebar is working as it should. Yeah, that's Norton Ghost. Oh, that's fantastic. What a well-placed joke. The computer started doing this like a few days ago, and I don't know why. When you're at the DOS prompt, you'll be typing stuff, and all of a sudden it'll just start beeping. Like, yeah, I don't know. So what's the file manager like? You know what? Let's install Microsoft Mouse. I want to play with this thing properly with a mouse. Microsoft Mouse, and I think 7.0 is what I want. I think it's just a single double density floppy. Yes, it is. Also, I gotta take a moment to appreciate how, despite the horrendous issues we had copying the Norton desktop files to the hard drive, it installed perfectly. So I gotta give it up for PKZip. Oops, wrong keyboard. I gotta give it up for PK Unzip. It knew exactly when a file was good or when it was bad, so props to it. Yeah, Cute Mouse. I always go for the vintage software, even though I know Cute Mouse is superior in every way. Yeah, I suppose I could reseat the chips on the motherboard. It's funny though, it just started doing this a few days ago. I'll have to bring the keyboard, the original keyboard from Mum's house, and see what it does. So I guess I should get out of here for now. I'm making a right mess of this DRDOS installation, installing all this crap, but that's okay. We're testing things. Once I decide what I want to keep and what I don't, I'll just wipe it again and install just what I want. But DRDOS is a win, man. If you have vintage computers and you've never tested it, I would recommend it. It's pretty sweet. I love ViewMax. I don't know what program to run. I guess I'm gonna run msetup. I chose Microsoft Mouse 7.0 because it includes PC Paintbrush, which is kind of a nice program to have if you don't have Windows installed. Although PC Paintbrush 4.0, again, is a very hefty program for a computer of this caliber to run. I'll go for broke. Microsoft's early install programs are so bland from a UI perspective. Yeah, I don't know. Oh, what I could do is, I have an AT to PS2 adapter. I could plug this thing into one of my newer computers and just use it for a while and see what it does. I could actually plug it into my main desktop computer, just switch out the IBM Model M. Okay. I think PC Paintbrush is a separate installer. Is it? PC Paintbrush isn't even here. Is it? Where's my PC Paintbrush? Well, I can install it from ZSoft's own installer. Restart. I've reseated the plug a bunch of times though, so I would think that there's no corrosion to be had. But I suppose it's still a possibility. Ooh, I get a mouse on the screen. Oh yeah, because for some reason the Norton image program initializes it prepares a mouse cursor for some reason. Look at me go with my useless mouse cursor. Here's my little hourglass. Okay, so, are you done? So if I do this, I'm getting hungry. So, didn't Norton Desktop advertise like a text editor of sorts? I haven't found that yet. Oh, you have to double click on the menus? That's weird. So, yeah, what do I want to do? Can I make a new directory? Okay, you do single click. Open, move, copy, delete, rename, find, view. Is there no, can you not make a new directory? What's long pull downs? Oh! There suddenly just became a lot more stuff. Okay, there's speed disk. System information, scheduler. Aha! Why were they hiding all those in the default menus? Weird. Make directory. It really, if you, can I go inside it? I would like to open this directory. I can't tell if you're supposed to, yeah, the lower bar. I've noticed the lower bar. I just haven't, unless view means open that directory. You're right, I've been neglecting the lower bar. Oh. Okay. That, didn't do what I expected. Oh, edit must be the text editor, maybe. Boy, this is slow as balls. Browser file to edit. Can I make a new one? Yes, I can. There is a text editor. Yay, there's a text editor. Oh my god, it's so slow. Ooh, boy. This was not optimized for an XT. Cool. And exit to desktop. No. Okay, so I want to go in a subdirectory and make a subdirectory inside it. How do I do that? View didn't do anything, or it opened that dialog. That makes the hard drive do stuff, but then nothing happens. Yeah, so I click once, the hard drive does stuff, and then the menu doesn't open. Now I've clicked again and it opens. Have I been going for 4 hours? Oh, I have! Wow! Well, I love poking around with finished computers, don't I? Yeah, I can feel it too. Enter? Maybe enter? That was it! Why couldn't I just double click on it? Why didn't that work? Yeah, I'm getting some... This is not a piece of software that I'll keep. It's very cool, but I don't think I'll keep it. So what I wanted to do was make another subdirectory. I can't believe I've been going for that long. It only feels like 2 hours. Holy moly. So what I'm gonna test here is if it'll let me delete a directory with stuff inside it. So if I go up by pressing enter because the mouse doesn't work for some reason. Delete. Include subdirectories. Oh. Okay. Cool. Well, I think that's all I want to do. I'm kind of... This is cool. But I think it's cooler on something faster. It's a little much for this machine. And this is the normal system information, which interestingly calls this an Epson equity. The equity line was just like the Apex line. I don't know what the difference was. Useful piece of software. Useful for knowing what free IRQs you've got. Yeah, it knows my disk drives correctly. What? It says my hard drive has 41 tracks. What? That's preposterous. Physical characteristics, side 4 tracks 41, sectors per track 17. It is not 41 tracks. That's... Huh. Weird. I wonder why it's saying that. Oh, now it says 614 tracks, which is almost correct. Oh yeah, okay. I was like, what? 2.1? Nope, it's good. If I do this, and it's down to 1.0. I think realistically it's probably like 1.05 or something like that. It thinks it's running at 15 megahertz. That's because I assume that's because the NEC V20 is performing right now equivalent to a 15 megahertz 8088. Could be wrong. That seems a little generous for me. I don't know. Ooh, let's do this. Yes, my Mastodon is dinging. Oh, look at that. This hard drive's faster than IBM PCXT, Seagate ST412. About halfway between that and a whatever came on the IBM PC-AT. I think that was a Seagate ST4096. At least some ATs came with the ST4096, which was a voice coil drive. Very high performance drive. So the fact that this drive's halfway towards that is pretty impressive. Yay, we're halfway between an XT and an AT. Pretty cool. Alright, let's get out of here. Next stream with PCM386? No, I don't do emulation. I'm lucky enough to own almost every generation of computers. The only thing I don't have is a 286. And finally, I'm tired. That was fun. That was cool. I feel like I've learned some stuff, explored some cool stuff. Digital Research DR-DOS, really big win. I recommend, if you've only ever used MS-DOS or IBM PC-DOS, give DR-DOS a try. It's pretty neat. Sadly, the last version of it was version 6. Of course, Novell did come out with version 7, but I think version 7 was not that different from version 6. So really, DR-DOS didn't see much advancement after like 1991 or so. But really cool operating system with a lot of improvements over MS-DOS, at least early versions of MS-DOS, and it uses less hard drive space than MS-DOS 5, which good for me. Vumax is cool. Love Gem. I'm always a sucker for Gem. Norton Desktop, really cool. I'm gonna have to play with it more on a newer computer because it's just so darn slow on this. I feel like I can't really allow myself to learn it and explore all its features. But that's pretty neat, and they only ever came out with the one version. After that, they only focused on Norton Desktop for Windows. What else did we try? Oh, vWestlife dug up that sort of gem-like text editor for me. That's really cool. I'll use that. I'll keep that. So yeah, very, very cool. Now I get to clean up the mess I made and get a more stable software configuration on this. So thank you guys for hanging out with me for almost 4 hours. I didn't think I'd be going that long. I thought maybe I'd have the gumption to go for an hour. This has been cool. So thank you so much for hanging out with me. Glad to see this computer still working. A little worried about the hard drive spindle motor, but we'll see how that develops. A little worried about the weird keyboard issues it's having. I hope it's the keyboard. I'll have to try the other keyboard or move this keyboard to something else and use it for a while, see how it performs. So hopefully hopefully that's not an issue with the computer itself. But there you go. Thanks so much, and more videos to come as I can get to them. So I'll see you later. Fade to black, where are you? Bye.